what's up with Sean Baligian?
What up, this is Joyce Bell here on the Baligian and Bell show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. Hi, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning to everybody out there. You guys well? It's Wednesday. Not just any Wednesday.
It's going to be a What Up Though Wednesday.
What up, though, Wednesday?
I thought you was going to say it first and I come in.
Sorry. I always thought the cue was not just any Wednesday.
It's not
not just any
It's
day.
not just any Wednesday, but on the What Up Though Wednesdays, you always give me the What Up Though wins. You know, do it. Put your L's
What
up.
up, dope? Get those L's in the air, yo. Homie.
Malibu's most wanted. Oh, right there.
That's how I do.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it over here at the Baligian and Bell show.
You know how I do.
You know, it's so great to see Sean hop into characters so freaking fast. It goes from
Boy. What is this though?
Morning, Adam.
What is that? Why do guys do this? Can you you know how guys sometimes do that? They just kind of go like this and go boy. What is that? Do you explain that?
I have no
idea. I know
idea
what time it is. I'm like Flavor.
I don't know what that is.
I'm like Flavor Flav. You know?
Like Flavor Flav.
How you doing? You all right, buddy?
I'm doing good, man.
I heard that there's an appointment scheduled. Is there an appointment this morning, Art? Is there? Do you know anything about that?
I thought that there was my Wednesday. I mean, he's late.
I need $100.
My back is killing me, man. Like, you know what? I
$100.
think you should show your skills live on the show.
$100.
Wow.
Ask the chat if they want to see Joy do his little chiropractic thing.
All right, you know what? To all our Facebook friends, Steve, Lynn, Darren, Richard, Jenna. By the way, Jenna says, friendly reminder, my niece has 4 days left to sell Girl Scout cookies. Hit me up if you need some.
Girl Scout cookies.
So there you go.
As I'm detoxing.
Girl Scout cookies. Boy, that does sound good, doesn't it?
You know,
Grammy
I'll buy
Whammy,
some.
good morning.
I definitely will buy some just to support.
Would you guys like to see Joy Crack Arts back?
No, they will not.
All right, I'm just asking. So if because I only have the Facebook stream up right now, you Facebook people, a simple yes or no, would you like to see Joy Crack Arts back? Y or N? There, that's the question. Well, Darren said yes. All right, so we got one yes so far. All right.
Yeah.
How many yeses constitute him actually fulfilling his promise to crack my back?
At least
30? Oh
30.
gosh, no way.
I need 30.
No way. We're not going to get 30. All right, there's 2, there's 3, just like
30.
that. Rich
need
said
30.
after they grapple. Oh, that would be funny.
I'll
Then
take
there'd
things
be a
that will
reason.
never happen for
All right,
500.
4, 5. Keith said no, so we have
Thank you.
5 yeses.
Thank you.
Now Steve said no.
Steve said
Dave said yes. All right, that's 6.
I think if we get to 10.
7.
No, I said 30.
All right, we're at 7 already, so keep track. Fish, I need you to keep track of this for me. We're at 7 yeses so far.
I think we're at 6 because every time you get a no, that's minus
8,
1.
9, 10. Oh my gosh, it's flying
Joy,
up now.
why are you so against this?
Grammy Whammy said no. I'm sorry. That's
all right. Well,
I'm not
that's
going to
minus
argue with
10.
Grammy Whammy.
That's
It's just
minus
not.
10.
It's not going to happen.
I've got to respect Grammy Whammy.
Minus 10.
That's right. That's my Grammy Whammy always coming in the clutch. We don't give away free services here.
Grammy Whammy. I'm sorry. Grammy Whammy counts extra, no doubt. So Lance Moore is going to join us on the show today. Are you familiar with Lance Moore? Had a tremendous career with the New Orleans Saints. Came here for a bit. I just missed him at Toledo, but he played for one of my favorite people in all of football. I'm serious. Toledo Tom Amstutz was his head coach. One of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. So I'm intrigued to talk to Lance Moore.
Toledo?
He was Amstutz?
Yeah.
After 08. Yeah,
so he recruited me.
Did he really? No kidding.
I talked to him at the U of M football camp. Yeah. Yep. He came and found me. I think he was looking for me in the running back section, but our quarterback quit right before, like a month and a half before the season, or 2 months, and so they switched me from running back to quarterback. And so I was with the quarterbacks.
Have you ever been down there to the Glass Bowl? It is one of the coolest venues. I had so much fun working down there and doing those games. It's like there's this old, it almost looks like a medieval wall that surrounds it. It's so cool. It's a really cool old venue, and MAC football's quality. I mean, it is darn good quality and
quality. I mean, they have some great athletes there. Some well-known Super Bowl athletes like a Lance Moore, like a Greg Jennings as well. So we have some. In the MAC, we got some athletes now.
Yeah. So you could have gone to Toledo. That's funny. Wow, yeah. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. And then Central Michigan, where they had who was the coach there at the time? Well, he went down and he coached at Tennessee for a while.
Chuck Martin, right?
No, not Chuck Martin. Nope.
No, what am I thinking? I know who you're talking about. Why can't I think of his name? Yeah, see, I get my Mac and my GLIAC guys confused, right?
Yeah, he was at Central Michigan. He actually recruited me as well. Name is. I'm dropping the ball here. And you know exactly who I'm talking about.
I can see his face. I can see his face.
Coached at Tennessee for a few years. He just got relieved of duties probably a few years back. Yeah, so I had a couple MAC offers, being at a small school in Ben Harbor, Benny Ha Ha.
You know what? It comes down to, though, Joik. I'm kind of glad that you decided to go to where you. Well, I'm sorry. Your mom decided where you were going to college.
Yeah, she did. But it was all because I let my ego down. I got up and I spoke to
Butch Jones.
It was Butch Jones. That's who it was. Butch Jones. Yes, that's exactly who it was. Because I let my ego go away, and then all the kids who were saying we're going D1 at the U of M football camp, where I talked to Toledo coach. Wayne State walked past, and I got up and I introduced myself because nobody else wanted to talk to him. So. And I did, and that's how I ended up coming to Wayne State. And now I'm here right now.
Steve said as well, we're glad you stayed in Detroit, Joik. We are.
I appreciate it.
We are absolutely glad that you stayed in Detroit. You know what? This is funny. Did somebody actually remember this?
Butch Jones at UT.
Don said, Sean with his throwback Toledo radio days, 92.5. Art, you're a radio. Did you know I did shifts at Kiss FM in Toledo?
Kiss FM, everybody.
I did.
On your morning radio dial.
Could you imagine me?
Art, that's pretty freaking good. Art.
Could you imagine me being like I was at their big station?
I could see you being completely miserable.
I was.
Yeah.
I was miserable.
That's how I felt when I left Lansing. I did top 40 radio for years. Coming here was a blessing because I don't want to introduce Taylor Swift songs anymore, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know what's funny? It's weird how things work out, right? So the guy that hired me in the business way back in 1995, he ran the cluster down there, right? And so, I was young. You know how it is with young people. They're not going to give you a whole heck of a lot of responsibility, but like some things kind of fell into my lap. But they were in a pinch, and they asked me, they said, hey, would you do 92.5 Kiss FM and walk things up and everything? And I was like, yeah. And so I did a couple shifts, and the boss called me in the office, and I thought he was going to tell me, you're the worst DJ I've ever heard.
Right.
And he goes, have you ever thought about doing this? And I go, no. And he was like, well, we'd like to give you more hours. Do you like doing it? I go, no, it's awful. And he started laughing. He goes, I hope you understand this. There are probably 200 people that would die for this opportunity. I said,
cool.
I'm shooting straight with you, man. I'm miserable. No, it's not. It wasn't,
It wasn't you.
No. Hell no.
Were you in Toledo during the Tower 98 days?
I was, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're a radio legend. People don't, and I'm not saying that to kiss your ass. Really.
Yeah.
You guys are perfect for each other because you both, and I was on FaceTime with Joik last night. He's showing me all of his awards, and it wasn't to be egotistical or anything. It's just we were chatting. You two work good together because you're cut from the same cloth, just different forks in the road. Doing radio in Toledo and then Detroit and doing, you guys are perfect.
Well, I
like this. I like this.
Okay, now see, you're doing that.
See, now the one thing you have to remember, I mean, Joik's not going to give me credit for it, but, you know, when Joik was at Wayne State, you know, he had some trouble in the weight room, and I took him in the weight room, and we got some things done and everything.
Because of you, he knows the uppercut that you were talking about. Yeah, totally.
Everything you saw in that bag that I was doing in that video,
I'm just shooting straight with you guys, right?
Sean was in the gym with me, you know, 3 hours a day.
Sean's not only a movie star, he's also a boxing coach.
I was doing curls with my ribs. I had
ribs.
one rib in each hand. I'm doing my curls.
Curling wings.
Building those biceps up with my wings.
Tighten up.
They're big, heavy wings, too, man. Are you kidding me?
Oh, my God.
No, you know what? And it's funny. So you never know how life is going to change, Art. Like, seriously? So the guy that hired me way back when is the guy that runs the cluster here in town today. And
they always say, don't burn your bridges.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah.
So I got a phone call a few years ago, and I didn't even know he was the boss. And he was like, hey, you want to come work for me again? And I'm like, where are you at? He was like, I'm in town, idiot. Okay. Yeah, I mean, really.
Let's talk.
Yeah, isn't that
Let's
weird?
talk.
Yeah, isn't that weird how that happens and everything?
Hey, that's energy, though. That's just energy.
Someone commented on Facebook and said, Art and Joik argue during the day and FaceTime at night.
the perfect married couple, boy, I tell you. You know what, though? And I have to FaceTime with Art because I have to make sure he's focused because he has 7 kids at home. So when I'm calling, I need your attention because we got to get this business. We got to get this work done because he slacks off a lot.
I slack off all the time.
All the time. But when he's in here, like, he's free balling. Like, question, do you know everything that's on that monitor right now?
I sure do.
All right, good. He's been working. I'm proud of him.
And I learned it in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
You know.
You know
took
what?
Me 2 days.
Are we allowed to say, like, seriously,
2
Art?
days.
Yeah, your on-the-job learning has been unbelievable.
Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Sean.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Sean.
Sean. No.
You know what? Maybe you could crack my back and we'll have some chicken wings later.
I'm not going to crack you. No way. Absolutely not.
He's just waiting. Like, this is what he's doing. He wants me to bear hug him and crack his back so I can break his back and then he can take him to court.
Well, plus workman's comp, man. Yeah. I love free
That's
money.
That's a Grammy Whammy. She knows.
Yeah, she knows.
She saw that. It's so funny how many people came correct once Grammy Whammy voted no. They're like, no, I got to vote no. Grammy Whammy said
Grammy
no,
Whammy.
I got to vote no.
Joy, can I ask?
Hold on real quick.
Sorry,
I'm talking to my grandma. Yep. Hey, so my grandma has, so she brings this up on YouTube, on her TV. And her and my grandfather sits there, you know, on their separate couches on their, what you call lazy boys there. And they watch this whole, they love it. They love listening to Sean. My grandmother hates me arguing with Art. She hates it. She's like, it's not good for the show. I just don't, why are you so mean to him? Well, he deserves it.
Can I tell you my game plan? I'm gonna show you some
he
tricks of the trade.
Grammy Whammy.
So I tried adding Grammy Whammy because I was like, if once she sees the pictures of my kids, she's gonna feel bad for me.
Aww.
She's still waiting on that friend request. You know, it's okay.
Now you're calling out Grammy Whammy for not adding you?
Hey, Grandma, do not adding, blocking. You don't need that type of energy on your page. You're already doing good in life.
Do you ever get the feeling like it's Rich just posted this? Can we please get an Art and Joik T-shirt? Listen, do you ever get the feeling that you are not needed here?
Oh, stop
I have that feeling every single day when I'm in here because look, people want the Art and Joik show, and that's okay. I think once you accept what you are, you have to move on with your day that way, and people want the Art and Joik show.
No, you know what? Well, you know. Art is cool. I haven't gave him
Say
a nickname.
Like
I said, me and Art are really cool though. Like, we just joke a lot. I haven't gave him a nickname. It's Art Fart, you know.
Or you say Artemis like that. I don't get
Artemis.
it. I don't know why you do
that.
No,
Artemis.
I just wish that you were the same person off of the show as on the show. I mean, it hurts my feelings. I can't sleep at night. I go and tell my kids, one day Uncle Joik will visit. I promise, guys. And they're like, please.
Deadbeat uncle. Deadbeat uncle. Deadbeat uncle.
You should have seen. Art wasn't even done with the sentence, and the camera wasn't on Joik, and Joik's just going. He's just adamantly shaking his head no. Oh, that was hysterical.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you this real quick. This is funny, right? So it's I think we talked about this before. Right before the pandemic, or during the middle of the pandemic, it was a guy sitting down at the table, and it had like a voice in the background saying, you have two options. You can either A, spend your pandemic with your wife and your kids, or B, and before they even got the question, here, B. I think you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
No, I love my wife. I love my kids. Life is great. I'm a great family guy. Can I work more hours here, please?
Listen, no.
Trish, are you watching this?
She's always watching.
She's always watching. Let me borrow $20 tomorrow.
Listen, I told you I had to have a family meeting just a couple weeks in, and I told my family this can go one or two ways. And I don't know how many other people kind of had that come to Jesus meeting in their house. But
you're the worst. You are the worst person ever. Come on, $20 till tomorrow.
I don't know if anybody knows that meme.
Seriously, how many of you guys out there had to do that? We literally had a come to Jesus meeting where we were all. There was a lot of. Yeah. It didn't bubble over yet, but it was there. You know when you feel the tension. And that's what I said, we can do this one of two ways. How do you guys want it to be? And we all put on the happy face, and it was a wonderful, blessing, wonderful time. Steve said his wife is watching, remember? She hasn't chimed in yet.
Yeah. Is Richard your son?
Is Richard my son?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, it could be. You never know. No.
Richard said, can Joik please toss the ball around with us since you throw like a girl, Dad?
Is that your son?
No, no.
It must be your son. Then.
I'm not claiming anybody, man. I got enough kids.
I told you, I'm going to have a toss with you, Art, whether you like it or not. Just be prepared when you come over my house. When you see me walking out with the football, it's time to have the toss.
I already had the talk with my wife, and I said, hey, listen, it's going to be fun. Joik's going to be there. Darren's going to be there. I was like, but if it gets to the point to where I'm getting beat up, just get in the car and leave. Like, I'll handle it by myself. You know, if it gets to a point where Joik's like, let's go outside and play catch, you can just go at that point. Like, I don't need that. Hey, I'll never.
Let me borrow $20 to tomorrow.
Stop. Let's get into these topics.
You know what? As a matter of fact, we are scheduled to talk to Lance Moore. We're going to talk a lot about the Baseball Hall of Fame voting thing because my opinion on this has not changed forever and a day. In case you missed it, no players were elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame for the class of 2021. That is the first time since 2013. And the sanctimonious, holier-than-thou, hypocritical, absolutely, positively hypocritical attitude of these writers disgusts me. And I'm tired of it, and I wish that more people would be talking about this because the dirty little secret in all of this, while all these guys were juicing, while all these guys were doing things, is A, it wasn't being tested for a while, and B, every single person looked the other way. They denied it. They pretend it wasn't happening. They loved that baseball, America's pastime, was going like this again. And everybody was reaping the benefits of it. And 1998, McGwire and Sosa brought baseball back, and everybody loved it. And then, shockingly, and starting all the way at the top, I might say, with Bud Selig, what are steroids? I never heard anything about steroids. Although there were articles found years previously, Bud Selig talking about steroids. It's a baseball problem. It's a writer problem because every damn one of you, every single one of you knew what was going on. What are steroids? If some dumb idiot like me, who was not on a baseball beat, knew exactly what was going on. And I was at the All-Star game in 1998 when people were asking Mark McGwire about Diana Ball and you know all of those things because it was up in his locker and everything, and people were going, what was that? It was at Coors Field. Every one of those guys, and let's pretend, so basically what baseball is saying right now to me and the writers is those guys are bad. Those guys are bad. But every one of us that looked the other way and didn't say anything, we are not. And I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds is a Hall of Fame player, period. Roger Clemens, as dislikable as he is one of, honest to goodness, Roger Clemens is one of the most dislikable human beings I've ever known. I mean, nothing to like about that guy. Just nothing to like about him. And if you don't believe me, go look up some of Roger Clemens' greatest hits. Roger Clemens is a Hall of Fame pitcher. Period.
Right.
I don't. Joykin is a guy who played. I'm intrigued to hear your take on this because I'm sure you know of guys, and obviously you're not going to name any. There are guys that were probably doing things illegally and were one step ahead and everything.
They were one step ahead. Yeah, of course I know guys. We all know guys that did it, and it's usually, either guys who are going through injuries or guys that are getting older in their career, and they kind of need that pick-me-up. All right. I know a couple guys. We're not going to name names, but it's guys that like, come on, guy. Come on.
Yeah.
What's your guy's info? Give me his number.
Yeah.
And they won't, but, for the most part, I've only played with Saints, so I've only heard of guys. None of my guys did it.
I'm intrigued to hear what you guys think about this because to me it's a joke. It's been a joke for a long time. Now I get it. If Art and I were talking about this before the show, and Art is adamant that these guys shouldn't get in, and that's fine. I get that.
And some people feel like players should be able to take these type of enhancements because of how physical some sports may be, like a football, with different things that help you to recover faster. So some people feel they should be able to. Some feel like, no, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And so it just depends on that person's perspective, right? And this is all perspective when we talk about things like this. Have I ever done it? Would I have done it? No, because it was against the rules, right? But I don't think even if it was legal that I don't even think I would take steroids just because of the negative effect they'll have on your body in the long term. Now HGH is something different, if that was legal, I probably would have did it if it was legal. But if it's not legal, I'm not doing it.
It helps you recover quicker.
Yeah.
I mean, period. End of story.
Yeah, that's what it does. It helps you to recover. But when you hear the performance enhancer, you always think steroid, but it might not always be steroids. It might be something else.
It's funny, Art, you brought this up about 10 minutes ago. You said that Joyk and I are cut from the same cloth, and I think Joyk and I kind of looked at each other and laughed and everything because we both came from mean streets. I mean, that's first and foremost. But no, Joyk, you just said something to me that, and it reminds me of marijuana. I didn't do marijuana. Why? For the reasons that you gave.
Because it was illegal.
It was illegal. And then you know what? When I could do it, gosh damn it, I liked it. Mm-hmm. You know what? Once I could legally do it, I took myself some edibles and I was like, I get it. I get it. This is cool, man.
Now, is that a performance enhancer?
I don't know.
Because it helps relieve the pain for a lot of players. Like, personally, I haven't done it, but if I had to choose between pain pills or cannabis, I would choose cannabis 10 out of 10 times.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
there was a stigma. I didn't care so much about the stigma. I cared about the legality of it. Yeah. And once, like, I could go get it and do it, I was like, cool, I'll try it. And you know what? I liked it. I mean, I'm not at home every day, but do I like taking my edible at night and chilling out? You bet your ass I do. Right. It feels pretty good.
Right, and it's had a stigma for so long that even after it became legal and I got into the business, I had some people stop supporting me because I went into that business. I don't care, I don't care, but at the same time, it's like, is it that bad of a rap, And everybody has their own perspective on it.
Sure.
They're gonna have their own opinions, and in this world, you can't please everyone, right? No one can ever make me feel bad about the things that I do. I can sleep well at night. And that California King. I sleep really good. So
it's funny, Jenna said close friend is fighting cancer and uses edibles to relieve the pain. I've been trying to talk to my dad, and you got to remember, he's old school. He's an ex-police officer. I've been trying to talk to my dad to do it for 2 years. He just won't do it. And it's that stigma. And I've even said to him, I've had the conversation. I'm like, Dad, you're not doing anything illegal now. You know that, right? Like, you're not. He goes, well, I bet you do it. And I go, well, you would win that bet. I said, yeah, I tried it. Once it became legal, yeah, I tried it. It's not a bad thing. And you know what it is? It comes back to the whole...
What's your favorite?
Oh, dude. I don't know the names. One of my buddies, we call him the doctor. I have a friend. Shout out to Dr. B out there.
OG Kush,
yeah,
Gorilla Glue.
Dr. B gets me some stuff, and it's pretty
cookies.
good.
I give you some cookies.
I didn't like the cookies.
You didn't like the cookies?
I didn't. The gummies were pretty good.
Yeah.
I like those gummies. He gave me, he started me out like on a low dose, and then like he upped the dose, and I felt it.
You felt it.
But I didn't like the way that made me feel, so I go with the lower doses. Because I think my system's...
You said an edible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the gummies?
Yeah, the gummies.
And it was...
Can they kick in?
I did not like the way it made me feel.
Oh, it kicks in. You got to start low.
Yeah, so I stayed low.
Yeah. It was funny. I went to my friend's party, and I didn't know they had edibles there. And so I was hungry, but I was trying to stay away from certain foods. And so I was like, let me just eat this cookie. Cookie was wrapped. I'm like, why is this one cookie just wrapped in plastic? Like, why is it wrapped? And so I took it, and I looked at it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be good. I'm not going to eat any sweets. And come to find out, that was the whole edible. So I would have been on my back.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I was going to eat the whole cookie. I was going to be done.
We'll talk more about I think the incredible hypocrisy by baseball as a whole of trying to look the other way. I know we're up against a break. Hopefully we'll get hooked up with Lance Moore, former Toledo Rocket, former Lion, former
Super
Saint.
Bowl.
Don't go anywhere. It is Woodward Sports. He's Joik Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
All right, welcome back. So glad you could join us on a Wednesday morning, a What Up, Doe?
What Up, Doe Wednesday?
Wednesday morning. Joik, to me, somebody asked about Pete Rose. I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I did then, I do now, even with all his disgusting lies and so many versions of the story. I'm the type of person I can separate what a bad person somebody is and separate him from what he did on the baseball field.
Ah, man, no.
I can do that.
It's all one of the same.
You really do?
It's one and the same.
Can I ask you something?
I don't know, but I'm just saying that when it comes to having someone in something that is as prestige as the Hall of Fame, they are a representation of the people that have come before and the people that's going to come after them. So I think that a person's off-the-field conduct plays a part in them getting into the Hall of Fame. Do I say I agree with it? To a certain extent, yes. All
right, let me ask you this. Would Pete Rose be getting into the Hall of Fame as a manager or as a player? Everybody knows he'd be getting in as a player.
Right.
All right, the things that he did, the betting on baseball, were things that he did as a manager. And that's why I think in my mind, I have to separate the two. I have to separate Pete Rose, the player, who is getting into the Hall of Fame because he was Pete Rose, the player, and Pete Rose, the manager. That's always been my take on it. As despicable as Pete Rose is, and he is, he made his own bed 1,000 times worse by lying over and over and over for years. He really did. I mean, it's tough to stick up for Pete Rose because I'll say like Roger Clemens is a bad guy. He is. I mean, there's no other. If you don't believe me, read up. Roger Clemens is just not a nice guy. Roger Clemens is a Hall of Fame pitcher. I feel dirty saying it, but Roger Clemens is a Hall of Fame pitcher.
Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah.
He has Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So I'm lucky I'm not on that board. Great player. But at the end of the day, people are going to remember you for the things that you've done that wasn't, I guess you could say, quote unquote, had no integrity. So let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think we talked about it before. It only takes 3 seconds to mess up your whole everything that you've built.
Yep.
Right? All right. And it's gonna take a long time to get it back.
Yep.
So once you break that trust, you break that trust with your girl or your wife, you got to work to get it back. You got to work. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. It's
sad to see.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing to me.
Do people not think about things like that when we're making these type of choices? Because I tell my son every day that every choice you make has a consequence. If you go to the gym every day, if you go to the weight room every day, you on the field, you working on your routes, you working on your hands, you working on your catching. The consequence, you probably you might be a pretty good football player. If you make poor decisions, you make poor choices, they have consequences. So I think he paid his debt to society, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's funny. You know what I tell my kids all the time? What were you hoping to accomplish? When you screw up, ask yourself before you do something. What are you hoping to accomplish? What's the end game here?
Yeah, every time we talk about our kids, you always give me this big smile when I.
Because it makes me happy. I'm a proud dad, man. I really am. Proud to be chatting with this guy as well.
There he is.
The pride of the University of Toledo.
Holy Toledo.
One of the coolest venues. I'm telling you, the Glass Bowl is awesome. I'll talk to him about his coach at Toledo in a little bit. Like I told you, Stutz is one of my favorite people in all of football. I'm serious. Just a great guy, but tremendous career in the National Football League, predominantly, as you well know, with the Saints, but certainly here with the Detroit Lions as well. Yeah. Let's bring him in. Lance Moore, kindly joining us on Baligian and Bell. Hey, first of all, Lance, really appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us, man.
What's up, guys? For having me, man. I've been looking forward to this. Joik and I have been talking for a while. Obviously, now it's finally worked out with our schedules, and happy to be here with you.
Let's go, Art.
Yeah, I couldn't get any volume there.
Art.
I couldn't get any volume there. All right, we'll try it. We'll try it now. We got him. All right, Lance, you there, bud?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Fantastic.
There we go.
Fantastic.
Just a button on the thing that he knows all the buttons to. What's up, Lance? How's everything going, my guy?
Good, man. Obviously, I'm just strange, but navigating this new normal and enjoying myself as much as I can. I guess.
Good, man. Enjoy retirement. Real quick, I know we talked a lot about you playing for the New Orleans Saints and being there with Joe Lombardi, and then playing there with him, and then obviously coming to the Detroit Lions with Joe Lombardi here. Could you tell the difference in the coaching with the teams on why his offense works so well with New Orleans Saints but not here in Detroit?
Well, I mean, I think it starts with Drew Brees, right? I mean, that's what you have to start with, and it's been something that I think has kind of had to live with Joe since he left Detroit, right? Like, New Orleans offense work away from Drew Brees, and not to take a shot at Staff. I think Staff is one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League, but there's only one Drew Brees, and it's going to be really interesting to see who the Saints replace Drew with if he retires. But me being a fan, I'd love for it to be Staff. I'd love for him to work with Sean. And man, that would be exciting.
Good. Lance Moore here, guys. Super Bowl winner. Lance, me coming to New Orleans after the Super Bowl, me and you talked a lot about it. We talked about the city. How was your time in New Orleans as a player, in just the city in a whole?
Oh, man, I mean, New Orleans is a second home. It'll always be a second home to me. The connection that the community has with the organization, it's really a family. And I got to see that from the early days, 2005, Hurricane Katrina, 3-13, just the bad. And then Coach Payton coming in, Strong coming in, Drew coming in, and really revitalizing an organization and turning something that was really bad perennially to something that is very successful. So I've seen the good and the bad, and it's amazing what's been done down there. There's no other fan base that's like the Saints fan base. I've been obviously in Detroit, I've been in Pittsburgh, I've been in Cleveland. All those places have great fan bases, but the family feel that there is in New Orleans is real, and I don't think there's anything else that's like it.
It's fascinating to hear you say that. Joyke and I were just talking about this a couple days ago. I went down to Marshall, and the way that fan base in the city became one after that horrible tragedy. Lance, I've never seen anything like it. My time at Toledo, you go all over the place. I've never seen a community like that. I'm guessing that's kind of the routine down in New Orleans. I mean, after the horrors of Hurricane Katrina, it's almost like that community and the team just bonded, and their DNA is one and the same. Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely, and I mean it's sad to say that tragedy bonds people, and collective tragedy. It wasn't just a New Orleans Saints thing; it was a whole golf. So the people gravitating toward the Saints, especially in that 2006 season, as a beacon of hope and something to look forward to. And it's real, and obviously the bonus were successful. But I think even just having football back in New Orleans back in 2006 was a win for that whole area.
Yeah, for sure. It got me. I mean, honestly, when I was there with the Saints, I was with Lance. I remembered I was on practice squad initially, and I remember going through drive-through on practice squad, and I went to go get my food, and they said, "Hey, are you Joyke Bell? Aren't you on the?" I said, "Yeah, I've not been playing any games." How do you know who I am? But and it's that. But they're that involved with the team, and I think it's bigger than just football. It's like you talked about with the Katrina, how players were actually going out and buying homes for some of the families, helping them to rebuild their homes. The owner giving the Superdome to the city so people can go there to who houses were flooded, and so it was like a real embedded love for the fans there in New Orleans. And I felt it when I was there. One thing, I think when you talked about it as well, like when the football season's over with, the city kind of dies down a little bit. Did you get that feeling in the off season?
Yes. Yeah. Because they can't wait for the next season, right? I mean, New Orleans is a football city. It's cool what the Pelicans are doing and the excitement that they brought with Zion Williamson and some of the young that they have. And I wish them all the best. I want them to do well on the court, obviously. But I'd be fooling you if I try to say that area cares. I think that's football now. They bleed black and gold. And as soon as the previous season ends, they're all looking forward to the next.
Good. Now, really quick now, just to take it back to the football with Drew Brees, we all know that he'll probably be retiring after this year, just waiting for the announcement. But there's been a lot of talks about who the next quarterback will be. There's even been talks about Matthew Stafford having an opportunity to go to New Orleans. How would you feel that transition would be with him stepping out and say a guy like Stafford coming in?
Well, I mean, look, man, the guy's been in New Orleans for 2 years. The best New Orleans Saints player ever. So it's not a situation where you just replace a guy. I know the last couple of years people have talked about his lack of arm strength, or he's just not the same player that he was. And that's natural, right? We all get older, and we can't play, to our optimal level for eternity. So, look, he's single-handedly changed that organization and helped turn us into a winning franchise. So, huge credit to him. We were fortunate to be on the same team, and the city of New Orleans was fortunate to be able to have him as our quarterback.
You know, Lance,
I think
go ahead.
Stafford, I mean, look, if the Saints can figure out a way to make the money work and have whatever it would take to trade for him, I say you trade him. Okay? Like, whatever it takes. He's a guy that already has familiarity with the offense, which makes it even more exciting. Oh, man, like, to see him with all those weapons, to have a really good running game, the best offensive line in all of football, and have a really good defense, it could be scary out down there in New Orleans. I don't think there would be anywhere else that would be more natural than that.
Lance, I got to ask you, you know, Joik told me one of the things in his time down in New Orleans with Drew was his preparation. And full disclosure, I probably owe you and Colston a cut of some fantasy football winnings in years gone by because you guys were always – but Joik always talks about that preparation and watching Drew prepare and go through his progressions even in practice. I mean, for you to have a front row seat at a Hall of Famer, what was that like watching him prepare to go to battle?
It was awesome. I mean, like, you didn't have any excuses for not working if you watched him. He's a coach on the field. He's a coach off the field. He's sitting there. He talks with the coaches and the players. I mean, he is what you would want in your franchise quarterback. And I'll even raise you on it. The story that I always give is every Saturday, the team has a walkthrough, and after the walkthrough, guys got to go their separate ways to prepare, either take a flight to wherever we're flying to, or go home and get ready for that meetings. And somebody will go into the weight room and make a protein, workout in. But it's true. Everybody go back into the sometimes the lights would be off. People would see that. And he would walk through every single play that was in that game plan that week, off the top of his head, all by himself, doing on everything, pointing to every single receiver in his and he did that every single week. No matter who we're playing, no matter what the situation was, no matter if it was week 17 of the Super Bowl season, he knew he wasn't going to be playing. So he did that all by himself. No other reason why he was able to have the kind of success he had out on the field, because he was so mentally in tune with what was going on all the time. Man, he was just amazing to work with and really made it easy for us to just go and play.
You know what? That's great. I mean, that's everything he's saying is true. For my season and a half there playing with them and playing with Lance and seeing how even after every Wednesday or Thursday practice, he'll have the receivers run the top of their routes just to get the timing down. And the receivers are out there, and he takes it. He's a player's coach, and he's a player's player. Right, so he's going to take care of his guys, but he's going to make sure they get the work in. I want to talk about Lance for a second. I remember going there, and I remember I would go back there and I would catch punts and kickoffs after practice with Lance, just trying to make the team, right? And I would just watch Lance on how he would just line his body up to catch the punts. I'd be like, okay, I got to line my body up like that. Even though I never was a returner, but I remember after every practice during training, I would go back there and I would catch punts, catch kickoffs, and Lance would be back there after every practice, back there with TJ. And so I remember the first preseason game. I had never practiced punt return in practice, catching the punt and running. And Bono throws me out there. He said, hey, go catch one. He just throws me out there. And so I have my heels at the 10-yard line, goes over your head, you let it go. They kick the ball, goes over my head, and in my head I say, you know what, if I let it go, that's what they want. I'll let it go. They'll be happy with it. But they won't be able to see what I can do. They won't be able to see, and it's preseason. So I take like 2 steps back and I catch it. I'm like, okay, I'm at the 8. They won't trip. I watched film, and I was actually at the 4 when I caught it. and I see I see the head special team coach running down the sideline, like kind of skipping, like he was Mac. Mac was like, what are you doing? So I took it, but I got to about the 34. Right, I got to about the 34. He like, oh, okay, good run. But TJ came, I don't care if you would have took it 100 yards. If you ever catch the ball past, y'all never put you back in the game. I was like, TJ, shut up. Now, real quick, now, when you left Detroit, you ended up going to Pittsburgh. At what point in time did you say, you know what, I'm done? Because you still have some football left in you, Lance.
Well, yeah, I mean, I left Detroit and went to Atlanta. And that, as a longtime Saints player, was tough mentally. From the moment that I got the phone call from saying that Atlanta wanted to bring me in for a workout, initially I just said no. And, you know, my wife was kind of like, are you sure you're going to turn down the workout? My agent said, this is what you want to do? And I was like, all right, and I'll go to this workout. You know, I'm not going to go and actually have intention of signing. Like, I don't want to be this workout warrior that's bouncing around, you know, so they can see if I'm in shape. And this is going through my 12 years. So it's like, I'm not feeling the way that I felt when I was 25. But like you said, I definitely still felt like I had some ball left.
Right.
And, you know, go there. And from the moment I landed, it was weird. Like, just being in Atlanta, being picked up by Falcon Scouts, driving up to Flowery Branch, going into their facility, going through the physical process, the paperwork, getting into the locker room, putting on that gear to do the workout. It was a mental struggle for me. Yeah. You know, you're talking 9 years I played in ones where the Falcons were basically a team. You know, if it had been Carolina or Tampa, I would have kept playing, honestly. But for whatever reason, you know, the Falcons wore on me. And
yeah.
I didn't necessarily need to keep playing football. I wanted to keep playing football. But, you know, you're talking, I'm starting camp 9 days in. I'm trying to learn the offense late at night by myself. Sitting back in meetings again, missing my family already, even though I only been gone a couple of days. My oldest daughter was turning 1, literally like 10 days after I got there. And all these things were piling. The first day of practice, I felt okay, but I had been out of football since the season ended in Detroit. I didn't feel quite like myself. And that was just another thing, right? And how long is it going to take me to feel right again? So all those things piled up, and I just said, you know what? I don't love it enough to keep playing here. And so I Coach Quinn, who I think is an awesome coach. It's unfortunate that it didn't work out for him there, but he is a hell of a football coach. So we met the following morning, and I said, look, I'm a guy who's planning to go for the right reasons. If I stay here, I'm not going to be good. And I'm a guy who went the hard way, and I feel like I owe it to the guy who is undrafted. I might be something that I would do if I stay here. And he said, you know what, I respect the hell out of you. I hate playing with you. This is a thing that you're doing. And you know, that's your decision, and that's your decision.
That's great.
Hey, Lance, we really appreciate the time. I know you got some business. Very quickly, I just missed you down in Toledo. I was there doing broadcast during the Pinkel era, but one of my favorite people was an assistant and ended up being your head coach. I know he recruited Joik as well down to Toledo. Talk about Tom Amsuch. Do you talk to Coach? And please, if you do, give him my best.
For sure, man. Coach Stutz, man, he is one of a kind. I guess that's the way I describe him. Toledo Tom, man, he's lived his childhood dream. A kid growing up in Toledo, playing at Toledo, being a graduate assistant at Toledo, then eventually becoming the defensive coordinator and head coach at Toledo. he's a heck of a football coach. He was fun to play for. Always made things interesting. My man loved moves. We always had something to have people over at his house or anything like that. But shoot, man, I'm proud of the success that he was able to have. And I just wish it would have lasted a little longer for him there.
For sure.
No doubt. Hey, best of luck to you, man. I know you got some business to take care of. We want to respect your time. Really a pleasure catching up with you, and it sounds like things are going well in your life, man.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. It's awesome.
Hey, Lance Moore, everybody, man. Appreciate you, bro, coming on. We'll chop it up soon.
All right, Lance Moore kindly joining us. Hey, listen, Joy, I got to tell you a funny story. Here's a great Tom Amstutz story for you. So I'm down in Marshall for the first Mid-American Championship game.
Okay.
All right, and this is Randy Moss. Are you familiar with his work? Chad Pennington, all that. Well, I was still a young man, and being a young man, as you well know, means going out and having a good time when you're on the road. And one of the rules was party like a rock star, but answer the bell when it's time to go the next day.
That's answer the bell.
That's what somebody in the business told me. Go have your fun, but answer the bell. So it's and you know what Coach Amstutz looks like. For people out there, do a search of Toledo Tom Amstutz. He's just a big, jolly guy. So, Joik, I'm getting home at about 5 o'clock in the morning, getting back to the hotel.
You said it's about 1 in the morning?
Yeah, it was about 5 in the morning. And
15 in the morning? Okay.
Yeah, it was about 12:30, 5. And so I'm going through the lobby, and me and a couple guys from the broadcast team, we had a good night. We had a good night, and it was time to go to bed. And they had this little diner inside the hotel, and Tom Amstutz is sitting at a table with a plate of, are you ready for it?
Talk to me.
Donuts. And it was so Tom Amstutz. It was so, and he looks at us and he goes, "Morning, guys." He's like fresh as a daisy, just fresh as a daisy, sitting at the table. "Morning, guys," waving at us, and we're all going, hey. Coach, how are you? You guys want a donut? I mean, it's so Tom Amstutz. It is so, that's him. That's like the guy that you see, that's him. The guy that you met, that big, jolly, gregarious, energetic guy,
yeah,
that's him. I'll never forget that, because I got like that. And would you like a donut? And he's up at the donut shop at 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's I loved him. He had some success there, and I'm with Lance. I wish we'd have kept him around a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Yeah, characters like that, man. You can't put a price tag on guys like that.
You can't.
Jenna goes, he looks like a jolly guy. Oh, he is. Trust me. That what you see, that's Coach Stutz. There's no doubt about that. Listen, we're behind, aren't we, Art? I got to take a quick break. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Some quarterbacks. What quarterback are you thinking about? Are the Lions going to go the free agent route and get a guy to bridge the gap? Are they going to take a rookie and say we're just going to throw him to the Wolves like you see in the NFL today? Well, we'll talk about some of the quarterbacks they could go get. On the draft show, we'll be talking about quarterbacks that they should go get tomorrow. I think it's time to bring a rookie in here, but we'll have the conversation. Don't go anywhere. Woodward Sports, Joik Bell, Sean Baligian. You're on Woodward Sports. Hey, glad you can join us. Very quickly, if you guys haven't seen the Chad Wheeler stuff, did you hear about this Chad Wheeler stuff? It's absolutely incredible. I wanted to mention this because I saw this yesterday, and it happened at a time where we couldn't get to it. And Joik, I'm not sure if you saw this. Seattle Seahawks offensive lineman Chad Wheeler was arrested after he got into a physical fight with his girlfriend, right?
Right.
In the police report, officers say they responded to a call that a woman had locked herself in the bathroom and called 911, claimed she was being killed following a fight with her boyfriend. The woman told police officers she was bleeding and had suffered a dislocated arm. When the police officers arrived, they heard screaming from the residents. They entered the home. They said they could continue to hear the screaming coming from the bathroom, where they found Wheeler standing next to the woman. Cops say they were told the altercation began after the woman refused to bow to the NFL player. I wish I was making this up. Wheeler grabbed her, threw her on the bed, choked her until she was unconscious. And then when the woman regained consciousness, he said to her, "Wow, you're alive?" Cops say the woman locked herself in the bathroom, called for help. Wheeler, by the way, is 6'7", 310 pounds. The woman is 5'9", 145. There's a picture of the hero right there. Wheeler was described in the report as uncooperative with officers. He was arrested and eventually booked on charges of domestic violence.
No place in this league for that. No place. You know, it amazes me that this continues to happen, and you see the results of how it ends careers. A Kareem Hunt, a Ray Rice, these type of incidences. You telling me that you worked your entire life just to make this type of mistake and ruin not only your career but your name. No one should ever put their hands, no male should ever put their hands on the field.
Couldn't agree more. Absolutely, positively.
That's my cup of tea. I know you have some people, well, if they touch my son, he better. Like, no. Regardless of, and it's a stigma. It's to be both ways. No one should put their hands on either party, but when a male does it, it's always heightened because we're painted as the dominant. Right? We're the dominant and the more physical specimen. And when you are in this type of position and you're representing that team, oh, he's off my team. He's out of here. I mean, he's out of there. Twice. I mean, it's not even get your locker. Don't even bother coming back. And regardless, and you know what? And then at the same time, you have to see what's going on with him. Like he needs to go and he needs to figure out. They need to see is he mentally stable to do something? A dislocated shoulder.
It is. The whole story is just nuts. And
she didn't bow to you?
She didn't bow to you? Huh?
What?
Well, Joik, you just hit the nail on top of the head. And props to you for saying it, okay? Maz and I grew up in an era, all right? And I'm shooting straight with you. Maz and I grew up in an era where people conveniently looked the other way when guys did things like this. It's true. It's real.
No.
The NFL looked the other way more times than you could shake a stick at, okay? These guys have to be aware that, number one, as a human being, you don't do something like that. As a living, breathing organism, you don't do things like that. But number two, there are darn good players that are now losing their job and not getting another opportunity. Now, there are going to be some. Kareem Hunt got another opportunity. Ray Rice, his career was over. Done. I mean, that was a guy that, in my opinion, did he have a lot of tread on his tires? No. Did he have some tread on his tires? Yeah. He could have kept playing in the league. Somebody could have taken a chance on Ray Rice, and it was over. And that's where, Joy, to me, like obviously, if you're thinking about doing these things, you're not a good human being anyway, okay? So it doesn't make any sense to try to appeal to humanity. So let me try it this way so this never happens to another female again, or male, whatever the case may be. You will lose your job now. You will be scorned. You will be dragged across social media all over the place. So at the end of the day, if you can't stop yourself as a human being, understand you are absolutely screwing yourself. And what the man said is true.
If you find yourself in any situation or any relationship or in general, period, whether it's a partnership, a business, an intimate relationship, if you find yourself about to get out of your character, it's so easy to get up and just leave the room, leave the property, leave the home, go cool off. You never make a rash. You're making a lifetime choice on a temporary emotion. Leave. Go to a separate room. It's not difficult. It's not difficult.
It's not difficult at all.
Get up and leave.
I'm smiling at you because that's everybody has probably been in that moment. Not that you're going to grab your wife, your girl.
I've been in that moment.
But you're so pissed off, it's time to walk away.
You just walk away. You leave. You go get some fresh air. Get out the car. Leave the house. Go take a jog around the block. Come back. Go in the room. Close the door. Lock it. And relax. Do what you do. Meditate. Do whatever you need to do in order to bring yourself back down, because understand that you making this type of mistake is not only affecting you, right? But now you're done. Now, if you have younger ones that you're taking care of, you have parents that you're taking care of, you have grandparents that you're taking care of. Now, their livelihood is jeopardized because now you made this mistake. And not saying it's your responsibility, but understand when I grew up the way that I grew up, our family, we take care of one another, right? That's what we do. That's my job as a son, a grandson, a father, a brother. I take care of my people. It is not just money, but it's resources. It's resources, it's knowledge, and understand that the more successful you are in your career, the more resources they'll come back to you, right? But when you make these type of mistakes, no one wants to be associated with you. No more resources, no more knowledge, no more anything. And so people need to take this into consideration before making these rash decisions that's going to affect them in the rest of their lives. This is going to be with them. It's going to be, and like we just talked about, the things that you do, aside from your career and excelling in your career, those things are going to stick with you, not just through your career, but for the rest of your life. And you're going to be labeled as a woman beater. It's just what it is.
Grammy Whammy said, "Love you, grandson."
I love you too, Grammy.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah. This sicko is going to be defined by "You're still alive." He's going to wear that. He's going to wear that around his neck for the rest of his days. He isn't going to be known as Wheeler or whatever the hell his name is. You're still alive? Oh, that's the "You're still alive" sicko from Seattle. Art.
My thing when I look at situations like this, I think, and maybe you would know this, Joy, does the NFL offer counseling or mental therapy? Because I'm not coming up with excuses for him at all, but you look at what happened with Hernandez and you think how much of it is CTE, how much of it is brain damage. That's
why I said we need to look at him mentally, right? He can be mentally ill, and with CTE you can't see it from the outside, right? You can only see it through a biopsy with the brain. Afterwards. I think they're coming up with different ways where they can try to monitor it now or try to catch it.
I hope so.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out ways now. But even with that being the case, this is these stories are always sad. But luckily, she's alive and he's alive, and hopefully they can move forward. And he's gonna pay his debt to society. It's no way around it. And when I don't know if he was in his right mind when he did, I don't know if he could have been high or drunk or off of. He had to be off something. I don't see anybody in their right mind just doing. I'm waiting for the whole story to come out. But regardless of the situation, you never put your hands on the female.
Out to me. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Like,
there's seriously something. There's
wrong.
There's something wrong. Something
Right.
didn't fire in his brain.
It's not. And then, in this time, I want to get off track because this is getting really serious and this is a serious topic. But sometimes I feel bad for, all right, man, we got to get you in the gym. I feel bad. Like, when you go home, are you safe?
I want to say, and like all jokes aside, like I'm not sticking up for the guy at all. I just know that when you get hit in the brain so many times and you get beat around, like it affects your mental. This is your hard drive. This is your RAM. This is your memory.
No doubt about that.
And I'm not making excuses for the guy at all, but you see it with MMA fighters and other athletes all the time. You see, like, they lose their minds and do something that before their professional debut or whatever, even in college, they would have never thought of doing. And it's just like, until you get more research, until you get more organizations that come together and say, this is going to continue to happen because you have athletes that are getting their brains beaten in, it seems like you look at athletes that are role models and they're doing stuff for their family, and then something clicks and it's just, or unclicks.
Yeah. Well, that's what Joik said. Listen, there have been times, and sadly I know about concussions, but there have been times, and the reason why I smiled at you, I'm so blessed. My son is just awesome. I mean, really, I'm so proud of him. But as a parent, there are moments, right? And I remember there was one time, and if he's watching, he knows what I'm talking about. There was one time, like, it was something so stupid that it was like, I went like this and turned around and walked outside. And you know what was funny? He told me afterwards, he goes, I knew you were pissed when you didn't say anything. And I was like, because if I would have said something in that moment, I would have said something that I would have regretted for the rest of my days. And I wouldn't even want to at that point in time. You being, at the time, the 16-year-old kid, you probably would have shot something back at me. I am diffusing that situation. There will be no situation. And I took a walk. I went and took a walk.
That's the best
And
thing
when I
you
came
do.
home, I was ready to be the mature adult and parent that I had to be. Instead of reacting, rashly and emotionally, we had a nice conversation about it. And it was funny because, like, he looked at me and I'll never forget it. He, like, looked at me and he goes, I am so sorry. Like, I let you, I'm so sorry. And it was like, wow, I feel better that I handled it this way. Instead of just flying off and, gosh, what the is going through your head and all that stuff. And it's like, so that's why I smiled at you, because
Time heals all.
You have to do that. Just call a timeout, man. Call a timeout. When you feel yourself getting like that, call a timeout, And I like what Steve said here. It shouldn't matter if you're Tom Brady or Joey Harrington. You're done. Zero tolerance. That zero tolerance should be absolutely, positively zero tolerance. I don't give a damn if you're the leading rusher in the National Football League. No. I don't care if you're a weapon like Kareem Hunt. It means nothing to me. Zero tolerance.
Zero.
Yeah.
I like the comment that you made, though, about taking a break. That's something that it took me 31 years. I'm 31 years old now. Instead of screaming and yelling and, getting mad or punching holes in the wall, like, take a break, go for a walk. Like, you're going to cause more harm by staying in the situation and screaming and yelling instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to grab my car keys and I'm going to go for a ride, because I'm going to end up saying or, doing something. You have that, when you get so heated like that, and everyone's had those moments.
Then now that's another thing you have to apologize for once you have that conversation.
It's a circle. It never ends.
And now that could be a crutch for them to step. So
I can't believe you said that to me. Things like that.
I was upset, but if you just leave, come back, now, you take it from there. But
it is.
Another career ended.
Yeah.
Another career.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. But
I hope she's okay.
Yeah. That's traumatizing. That's traumatizing.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what people don't understand. Like, in situations like that, your scars will heal, the bones will heal, your soul doesn't heal.
You see, Kenny said he'll end up in Dallas. Because they have,
You know what? A guy like that, though, that isn't a quote-unquote name, that doesn't have any credit behind him.
We had a guy here. Same situation, played with me, never played again.
Yeah. Guy like that, he'll never play again. I'd be stunned. If this was...
Do you remember the guy here?
I think I do, but I'm not going to say his name.
No, we're not going to say his name.
Okay. I think I know who it is.
Offense or defense?
Offense.
Okay.
All right. Here's
sad, man.
If this guy was, I'm not even going to say a pro, if he was a starter, and I'm not going to even say any names to compare. If he was a starter, a guy that didn't have the kind of road that this guy had to get there, if this was Joyke Bell early on in your career, you were done.
I was done.
You were done.
I was done.
You weren't getting the Kareem Hunt. You were done.
I was out of here.
Yeah.
I was done.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you see this stuff and
I mean, you got to think though. You worked your entire life from the age 6, 7, 8, right, all the way until your NFL career, which is roughly 14, 15 years, and then you get here, and then you played a couple years, and then you're building yourself, you're building your name, and then you make this one mistake that takes it that whole 17, 18 years of you putting your heart, sweat, soul into this, and then you made a mistake to say, nope, bring it back. You're done. Your career is over, and you have no say-so. You have no say-so.
Tell me if this path sounds familiar. You ready?
Yep.
Undrafted in 2017, was signed by the Giants, went on to start 19 games for the team over the course of 2 years. He was cut, went to the Seahawks practice squad, but eventually, after sitting on the practice squad for a year, found some playing time with the Seahawks this year, playing in 5 games. He's done. There's no way anybody's going to.
You know what's sad though is although he most likely is done, there have been incidents with athletes that are high tier that have a good lawyer, have a lot of money, and tend to be able to push it to the side. And I'm not going to name names, but we all know that that's a thing that happens.
Absolutely.
And, there's to me in this situation, I don't care how much money you have, I don't care how many lawyers you have. Like, you committed a crime, and no matter who you are. And this goes for politicians, for athletes, for everything. It seems like, if you're at this tier, you can get away with this. A DUI, you're a celebrity, you'll be all right. Attempted murder, I mean, that's a more serious charge, but you get a good enough lawyer and enough money, you'll be fine. It's just disgusting. It's just, no matter who you are, like you said, Tom Brady or not, you do the crime, you do the time.
Hey, so say this. Say he does his time. Say he gets probation or a year or whatever it might be. When he gets out, does he get another shot to come back to the NFL if he still has the goods?
That's such a double-edged sword.
Why is that?
I'm a firm believer.
If he paid his debt,
if you paid your debt, I'm a firm believer.
But then there's other cases to where people get off, and it's like, you didn't serve any time, and we all know that you did. But you know what? It's the jury and it's the law.
But you have to do it. You have to do it by a case-by-case scenario. I know what O.J. Simpson is guilty as the day is long.
Casey Anthony guilty.
Yeah, Casey Anthony is guilty as the day is long. Period. And we all know it. Let's not pretend. Okay. They have to live in their own hell, okay? That's why I say we have to do it. We have to do it on a case-by-case situation. A guy like this, he isn't. I mean, this seems like a cut and dry type of situation. I'll use the example of his teammate, Michael Vick. As much as what Michael Vick did ticked me off, and I can't even put into words how much it ticked me off. He paid his debt to society.
Exactly. He did his time. And that's the thing. But then it comes into a conversation. Does the public have to forgive him? And that's what it seems like with athletes. Like, to me,
no. The public is never going to forgive him.
Never going to happen.
Right.
Michael Vick will never be forgiven.
You see what?
Michael Vick will never be forgiven.
I'm going to tell you this. Look at the biggest superstar on the planet right now. Nope. I don't know who's bigger than, as far as superstar, as celebrity. I mean, you got your Beyonce, you have your Nicki Minaj, you have your Drake, you have your Taylor Swift, but I don't think any of these people are as big. Well, Beyonce, obviously, and these guys are big, but as far as guys, you have Chris Brown. They still haven't forgiven him about the Rihanna.
No.
But that's where, to me, okay, look at Michael Jackson. I mean, we could go down the line. You have to separate the art from the artist, but you can't forget the allegations, and that's the thing. The public never forgave Michael Vick, and that's fine. Me personally, you served your time in prison.
That's the way I always look at it.
You admitted your faults. You went up and you admitted as a man that you screwed up.
And you know what, Art?
Cool.
You don't have to forgive Michael Vick. You don't. You don't have to forgive Michael Vick.
And move
to
on.
me, the man is allowed and afforded an opportunity to have a career. If somebody is interested in him, he paid his debt. Whether you agree with what the debt was or not, to me is inconsequential. He paid his debt. And I've always felt that way. And trust me, there are guys that, I'll say it again, as a guy who has 2 dogs, Michael Vick was disgusting. And I know I said this to him in front of him before. I thought his act leading up to it until he couldn't lie anymore was worse.
I'm not going to attack him as a man. I would say his actions were unthinkable. But Mike Vick, the man himself, and me playing with him and knowing, having a personal connection or a personal relationship and playing with him, he's not that guy. Mm-hmm. But his acts were despicable.
Right.
All right, not him. Just like if he was to make a bad play, that was a bad play that he just made. He's not a bad player, but that play was so I'll attack the action. I'm not going to attack him as a man. What he did was despicable. But at the end of the day, we all make mistakes.
But he served his time.
He served his time.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in that.
He deserved a second chance. He came back. I was happy he was able to get the opportunity to come back.
But I feel like you're enemy of the state when, like, you and I are agreeing right now and we say, you know what, he did his time, he served his sentence, he went back on his wrongs and corrected them, you know? I feel like you and I are looked at as like, oh, well, you're forgiving an animal abuser, and it's like, no, it's the law of the land. Like, that's how the court system
I'm a big
works.
fan of rehabilitation. I think society kind of pick and chooses who is rehabilitated and who isn't.
Nailed it.
And I'm a big fan of rehabilitation. I've told you guys this before. I love Les Miserables. It's just a great story. It's about a guy that was, I mean, no other way to say it. The guy was an effing loser. And then, like, one day he woke up and said, well, I'm tired of being an effing loser. And he reinvented himself and became, a big successful man, mayor of his town, helped out a bunch of people and stuff like that. But yet there were people that were judging him for the guy that he was 20 years previously. And I don't quite understand that. I think the first thing is you have to admit, for me, I'll only speak for me, you have to acknowledge you made a mistake. You have to, I think, and I've told you this, my issue with Michael Vick for the longest time was he came across as cocky to me. That you guys got nothing on me, you guys got nothing on me. And then it kind of got to the point where it was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I was part of this. My bad. That's the first step. Acknowledge it. If you wronged me, you know what? You want me to heal? Hey, dude, my bad. Okay, cool. It's done. It's over. That's just the way I am, and I'm only going to speak for me.
Because we also have to understand, right? Because I'm not saying I'm not condoning what he did was right, but the way he grew up, right? His norm might not be our norm. Mm-hmm. Like the way I grew up, my norm might not
Everybody
be your
has
norm.
a different path in life.
All right, and so...
Would you agree with me, though? I accept that argument to a point, and the point where I don't accept it is when you deny that you were a part of it. And that was my problem with Michael Vick. And he was looking to squirm his way out of it, and there was no way that he was going to squirm out of it. Because, hey, listen, there are words I used as a kid that I wouldn't dare use now. There were words that were Maz, our generation, there were a few words that we use a lot in everyday conversation that didn't mean then what they mean today, and I won't even give you a hint as to what those words are. But so Joik, I get that argument 100%. And, somebody else brought that. Let me say this. I saw Andy said that's how Vic grew up. It's not right, but I believe he didn't know any better because it was so common where he grew up. I will accept that if he wasn't so adamant that he wasn't a part of it. If you didn't think anything was wrong, then come out and say right away, I didn't think anything was wrong. My gosh, I'm so sorry. Deny, until he got to the point where it was like, okay, I'm caught. I'm in the net. You know what I mean? I believe his apology. I believe that. I do. I think he was being sincere. But I told you, that was always my issue with your boy. And I was a guy that loved watching Michael Vick. It was like, dude, own it. So let's all move on as quick as we can.
Speaking of moving on, we on the topic of
Did you hear that? What a flipping pro! Holy crap! I'm done. That's the best segue we've ever had on this show.
He's a natural.
Yeah, and all right, don't forget you got to raise your hand.
Oh, sorry. God, I can't win with you, man.
We're on the topic of quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
5 most likely QBs for the Lions in 2021. I'm not a big fan of this.
I don't
list,
like any of them.
But here we go. We have Dak Prescott.
No, sir.
The person I love, Deshaun Watson. Carson Wentz. Nah.
Nope.
Nope. Mitchell Trubisky. Nope. And last but not least, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like him as a quarterback, just not here.
Nope.
Like Ryan, I like Fitz. I mean, I like his energy he brings. I love his leadership, but I don't think his skill set is a skill set that's gonna take us to that next level.
I want to get into this a little bit more, but we're up against a break. And here is something that if you've ever listened to me over the years, and I'm glad that Adam's in this room because I know Adam and I have had this conversation a few times. Do you know what has made the Red Wings worse in recent years? Not acknowledging that it was time to blow it up. Do you know what has made the Tigers worse in recent years? Not acknowledging that it was time to blow it up 5 years ago, that it was a wonderful run and it ended. The same thing with the Pistons, as we've talked about. Okay, the way the Pistons operated for 12 years did not work. Troy Weaver came in here and said, I'm tearing this shit up and we're trying a new, different direction. The first step in rebuilding, if you're serious about it, is acknowledging it's time to rebuild. And that's where the Lions need to be right now. And I think being the key and operative word, I think that's where they're at with this decision with Matthew Stafford. The way we've operated hasn't worked. And it stinks for Matthew Stafford. We all agree. You and I are both, I think everybody in this room is a fan of 9, okay? Best of luck to you, Matthew. I'm serious. I hope the Lions beat you, but I'm pretty sure they won't in the next couple of years because they're really going to stink. But I wish you nothing but success. And I think people in this town, and it's fans in general, I think we've been very guilty of overrating our own. And it's not about being a fan. It's about looking at something objectively. This Detroit Lion team needs to start over. And how do you start over? You don't bring in a 58-year-old quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick. As much as we all love the beard and his style, you start over by drafting a young quarterback and saying, this is your team, and we're going to build around you the way they should have done it with that guy. Sadly. We'll get into that when we come back.
Sadly but true.
We'll get into that when we come back. Joik Bell, Sean Baligian, Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Morning, D-Mac. You know, I got to say this, okay? And you and I have never talked about this. I like Dak Prescott. I liked him at Mississippi State. I think I put Dak Prescott in the Matthew Stafford category of quarterbacks. I'm serious.
Okay.
He's a good quarterback.
I see that.
Would you agree with me?
I would.
I mean, their skill set's different, but I think he's a good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback. If I had to choose between Dak and Stafford, I would probably choose Stafford.
So would I.
Just because of arm talent.
So would I.
Yeah, just because of arm
I
talent.
agree with you.
Yeah.
But
I like Dak is a good quarterback.
If we were to make a hierarchy of quarterbacks, okay, I think there's the great quarterbacks, there's the good quarterbacks, and I think both of them belong in that category. And I told you, my biggest problem in this town forever, and it's kind of in life today, everything's extremes, right? We know it. So many people are bound by extremes. And the argument around here was Stafford sucks, Stafford's great. And I said forever and a day, you're both wrong. Matthew Stafford's a darn good quarterback. I'm sorry. I mean, there's no other way to say it. But,
Gotta give it to him.
The reason why I bring that up, would I be interested in Dak Prescott today? Absolutely not after that knee injury. I can't do it.
That's what we're trying to say.
Sorry, I can't do it.
That's all I'm trying to say.
That was Joik.
That's all I'm trying to say.
There's a knee injury. You know this, okay? This is something we can both talk on.
Oh, we both can talk about
There's a knee injury, and then there is a horrific knee injury, okay? Seriously, there's no other way to say that. There's
in the sad for him.
My left foot's falling asleep right now, so pardon me.
And it's sad for him, though, right? It's sad for him because he basically has to prove himself all over again. Mm-hmm. Can you still play on that? Can you still play on that leg?
Feel bad for the dude.
And the only team that owes him or would be able to say, you know what, we want to take a chance on you, is the team that he's given everything to with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
I don't see any other team being that loyal or being that gracious enough to say, we'll take that chance on you. Come back. That's tough. It's tough.
You know, it's interesting. A couple comments. Dion said, if the Lions don't draft a quarterback, I would be happy with either Jacoby Brissett or Tyrod Taylor until we find another young quarterback to develop for long term. Here's the chance that you're taking with that. And this is why people like me thought they should have used the 3rd pick last year. You can stink in the National Football League and still find yourself picking around 10. And that top tier of quarterbacks are gone. And the Lions find themselves in that position right now. I mean, the Lions were terrible last year, and they're picking 7. And that top tier of quarterbacks, the guys that most people are salivating over, might all be gone. I mean, it might be the 4 that have kind of separated themselves: Lawrence, Wilson. Why am I having a brain fart? Justin Fields. Those guys might all be gone. And that's the crazy scenario about this. So do you say to yourself, well, let's try to get, if one of those guys aren't there, well, what do we do? Where do we go after that? Do we try one of the next level guys, a Mac Jones? Do you grab Trask from Florida? Do you get those next level guys? And that's the interest to Dion's point, and I agree with you, Dion. That's where the Lions are at right now. It's a weird kind of spot.
My question is this. This isn't the first time we've heard the rumors of Stafford leaving. I did raise my hand. Yes, I did. This isn't the first time we heard of the rumors of Stafford leaving. They didn't know about this last year? You think that they honestly thought that they had a couple more years with Stafford? Obviously, in his agreement, yes. Why weren't you making plans? This is all last-minute decisions.
No, you just nailed it, because you had a general manager and a head coach that were convinced that they had to get this pick right and they had to get this draft right to show that they were the guys moving forward. And if you take Tua, if you take Justin Herbert last year, it's not going to help out the 2020 Lions.
But then
some people would say, why did you draft a cornerback? But I'm just telling you, there's no doubt in my mind. Trust me, there's no doubt in my mind that was their reasoning for not taking a quarterback last year.
My thing is,
I thought it was short-sighted and detrimental to the long-term success of the franchise.
You're building an entire new franchise essentially right now. You're starting from the top with management and defensive and offensive. Why wouldn't you, instead of trading a quarterback that is already adjusted to an NFL team, why not bring someone in like Justin Fields, who's going to have his start in the NFL with a brand new Detroit Lions? That just makes more sense to me than getting somebody like Prescott or getting an old washed up quarterback from, the Dolphins. It doesn't make sense.
It makes sense from the standpoint of, we're going to have a team, right? We're going to have a team that we're rebuilding the entire team, right? And so let's go get a quarterback and he can build with it. We can build with him. We're rebuilding this whole team. We bring him in. Or do you want to bring a quarterback that is not going to – he's going to help you rebuild the team, all right? And that's where you have to sit down and think.
Yeah.
We sit down, we think about it. Do we want to go out and get, try to make a deal to get a Watson in here because he's going to help you build a team? Now, does he want to come here and help build a team? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does he want to be here? Because – as fans, we can see if someone wants to be here.
Yeah, are they going to fake retire? Are they going to fake retire like Gronk did,
Right. I mean, like, if you don't want to come here, you don't have to come here. We, us as fans, like, we want people that's going to play for the city. The biggest compliment that I can ever get from a fan is when they come to me and they say, We miss watching you play. We can tell you play with heart, and we know you play for the city. When people can come up to me and tell me that as a fan, that's the biggest compliment I can get as a former Detroit Lions player.
You did that, though, because there was an interview of yours that I watched, and every answer to the question was Detroit versus everybody, Detroit versus everybody, Detroit versus everybody. Yeah. And that, to me, proved your heart for this city, because you could have answered the questions like, you could have bullshitted your ways to be, through the answers. But
you know what that interview was after?
No.
It was after the Dallas game.
Wow. Look at me go.
Yeah, that was after the Dallas game.
But to me, that showed your dedication to a city. I'll find it. I'll play it because and you
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, you could just tell that you wanted to be a Detroit Lion. Yeah. I don't want a quarterback coming in that came from another organization that just wants to finish out their years here. No, this isn't a half-ass competition. Bring in Justin Fields. Bring in a young, smart quarterback that's got experience, but that wants that professional boost and that can have a team that surrounds him.
I like what Kevin said, and it isn't popular, but this goes back to what I was saying. Do you want to confess that you're totally in rebuild mode? Remember, everybody was accusing the Dolphins of purposely trying to tank, and they ended up picking fifth, as fate would have it, And remember, the whole thing was tank for Tua, and it's crazy. They didn't get the number 1 pick overall, but they got the 5th pick, but still got Tua, if you remember. But Kevin said, start Daniels, get the number 1 overall pick, sign Rosen or whoever as a backup. You want to completely tear it down? You tell your fan base, guys, we are going to absolutely blow this year. Because newsflash for you, they are.
Yeah.
The 2021 Lions aren't going to be any good. You want to really do something like that. And so you give yourself 7 pick this year, the 1 pick or 2 pick next year, and maybe another year of having a top 10 pick, and then see what happens in a couple of years. Best case scenario, Joik, in my humble opinion, okay? And it's just one man's opinion. Best case scenario is you find yourself in the situation that both the Dolphins and the Cardinals did this past year.
I would say what the Chiefs did 2 years ago when they went out and they got Pat Mahomes. When he came in, who was the starting quarterback and who was he able to learn from?
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? They were 9-7, though. You know what I mean? That the Falcons and the Dolphins' starting point was kind of where the Lions' starting point is.
Yeah, I wasn't speaking as far as.
I got what you. Trust me, I was for that last year. You and I didn't talk about it, but anybody who listened to me last year, what Joik just described, I wanted that 100% for this team. People said, "Well, you can't waste a first-round pick on a quarterback," and I'm like, "Why not?" The Kansas City Chiefs did it. How'd that work out? The Green Bay Packers did it. Aaron Rodgers didn't like it, but guess what? If Aaron Rodgers decides, I'm not getting my love here, they've got the heir apparent waiting.
What you mean if you talk about when he said it? Mm-hmm. A lot of people, a lot of players' careers here are uncertain, including mine.
Mm-hmm.
He's not happy. He wasn't happy.
Maz said trade Stafford to San Francisco for Garoppolo and a number 1. Happy as a pig in slop. Okay, cool. Load up those picks because that's what Dolphins did. That's what the Cards did.
We all know we have to rebuild in the draft, and we have a guy who knows how to win in the draft.
Look at that guy. Look at the look on that face.
Look how young he is.
Detroit versus everybody. For a franchise. Detroit versus everybody. Wait for that one to happen yet. I got to ask you about whether or not you were stepping on, whether you think it was right, and whether you think it's going to get the same type of attention as last week's encounter against Houston got.
Detroit versus everybody.
Keep them coming. Floating around you getting stepped on. Is there something clarifying what happened?
Yep, Detroit versus everybody.
Don't you want to just take the opportunity, though, to say you think something might have been done wrong?
Detroit versus everybody.
What's the offseason hold?
Now I know where Marshawn got it from. Marshawn ripping off Joik Bell.
Where's your focus at?
My focus is Detroit versus everybody.
That's awesome.
It's a beautiful thing.
That was my focus.
But that's a quarterback that I want. I want a quarterback that's going to come and represent the city well and put on for the city and be proud to be a Detroiter. Stafford was proud to be a Detroiter.
Boy, that Drake Bell looks young right there, Nick.
He looked pretty pissed off too. I got scared looking at him. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I was trying to hold him.
Art, yeah, you talk trash to that guy. I want you to know that, Art. Think twice about that the next time. Okay?
I looked back at the grappling video yesterday when I was like, "Hey, Joik, let's grapple," and I'm like, then I looked up your stats and I was like,
No, let's not grapple.
Content's content, man. I'll get choked out.
Do we got some vegan stuff in there today, guys? My God.
You got $20 I can hold.
Dave Hubbard, the butchery in the house. It's rib day. We are going to be doing the smoke show in just a couple minutes, getting everybody's Super Bowl menu ready.
I've got that clip.
We're getting you know what better? I mean, like Joy, seriously, you're having a shindig Super Bowl Sunday, right? Or let's say you are.
Yeah, virtual.
What are you making? So that's what we're going to be talking about the next couple weeks in the next couple of smoke shows. We're going to do a variation of ribs today and wings.
Before we go to break, before we break and do the setup for the food, have you ever seen Planet of the Apes, the newer one?
Yeah.
Have you seen?
Give me the spaceman. Yeah.
What was the first Planet of the Apes? The Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Was that the first one? Was that the very first one? All right. And so at the very end of the movie, when Caesar goes off into the woods, he gets really, really close to his owner, which I think is Franco. Is it Jack Franco?
James Franco.
James Franco goes to his ear and he whispers something in his ear. And this is when he found out that he can talk, right? Mm-hmm. And so they did a clip of it recently. It's a meme out. And basically it shows him approaching his ear. And he whispers to him, "Let me borrow $20 to the mall."
I've got the clip. Let me play it for the audience.
Play the clip.
I'm going to play it for
Hail
VMAX.
Hydra.
It's coming up.
Yeah, Art's gonna pull up that. Art's gonna pull up that.
It's playing for the audience.
Okay. Take your time.
Yeah. No, literally, I'll play it again. You guys are talking over it. Hang on, here we go.
It's funny. We're on the live. We don't see it on Facebook.
Let me borrow $20 to the mall.
It's beautiful. Let me borrow $20 till tomorrow. Oh, that's great.
Let me borrow $20 to the mall.
Joy says that I say that to my wife.
It came out around Thanksgiving. It said that one uncle that you haven't seen in a while. You see him at the Thanksgiving dinner. He comes up to you. Let me borrow $20 to the mall.
Art,
listen, Art, I ain't too proud to
Joy,
beg, man.
Art. Come on.
I know you guys are making the big bucks. All right, let's go to break.
Listen, guys, we got to go to break. Come back.
Combat.
We got the food here. Check out what we're doing for the Super Bowl weekend, Super Bowl game day. We'll be right back.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.